Hi everyone, we are here in our Gurgaon classroom program, and today we are going to talk about generative AI, a topic which is the topic of the talk these days. Especially in last 1.5 years, the usage of AI, generative AI, has been growing like anything, and that is why we thought, why not to talk about the topic and discuss the topic with an expert. So we have Mr. Vineet here, who is AI cloud engineer at Google, and he has more than 30, he has 14 years of experience in software industry. So we'll be discussing a lot of things about AI, like I'll be talking about how to switch to AI company, and we'll be talking about how Geeks for Geeks can use AI, and a lot of things. So hi Vineet, how are you?
Hi Sandeep ji.
So
I'm good.
okay, so please tell us about your career journey first, and then in your career journey, I saw that you started as a software engineer, and then later you switched to generative AI. So please tell us about the whole journey and how the switch happened.
So I started my career back in 2010. I started as a application engineer, software engineer for banking firms. I was working on a lot of applications which were enterprise level, had a lot of various complex problem statements to solve for. But sooner or later, you get to realize that the application space, the problem statements increase in their complexity with time. Sometimes it's just bringing data, but other times it's like fraud detection or so on. Those things start fascinating you. At certain point of time, while I was thinking what AI could do for me, like what is AI, I was just reading upon it. There was somewhere while I was playing a game and I found out that, okay, I can probably try to employ AI to play that game for me and try to score much more points, because I don't want to invest that time into playing that game. That game was 8-ball pool, and I wanted to automate it. And when I started that journey, I went into that direction so much that something personal converted to something professional, where I just went into it. And today I'm an AI cloud engineer because of that. That small game converted me to an AI cloud engineer.
All right. So when I was talking to you, I got to know that in your Google journey, also job journey, you were like working in an environment where it was hybrid. You were doing some part as AI, then your current role is completely AI. So how did this switch happen there?
So think about it like this. In my day-to-day job, I was a solutions engineer, where for every new problem statement I would have to come up with a new solution. A lot of that time and given that today's time and day and age, data is the currency now, right? Every problem requires data, and the new solutions are too complex to solve directly, right? They need some kind of machine learning or some kind of nuanced AI that will give greater decision power to the businesses. So it was becoming a more of a part, like more part of the pie was coming to me, which was more related to AI. Then 2 years ago, when generative AI actually hit the market and took it everything by storm, turns out that most of my part of my job started leaning towards generative AI, how I can invest more time, how I can learn. And along with my personal interest and my professional interest, both collaborated. Then soon I found some roles within the org which were completely depending on generative AI, which were completely focusing on generative AI. So I switched to them and joined my current team.
So you saw a role internally in your company and you applied there, and then you were interviewed about AI and all, or
I got interviewed. I had a few rounds. Even though I was in the company, I still get, because those are role related knowledges, and you have to, like, people need to know that you know that stuff, right? So yes, there was a complete interview process about it, and you have to obviously prepare for it beforehand. So
okay, so if I am a person who is working in a company and I don't have any AI work as of now, right? And I see that AI is growing so well, and data science, and I can see that there is a future, and the number of jobs, the job share of AI jobs and data science job, it's growing like anything. So I want to switch, and I want to build my career like you. So what I do, what should I do, and what worked for you basically in that switching journey?
See, now this question is actually bounced off a lot, that if I want to switch to AI, how should I do it? The first question I should ask you is, do you actually want to first go into AI? Like, is that your cup of tea? Because a lot of times we think that AI is the cream. It's like the blockchain boom, that everybody wanted to go into blockchain, but does it suit everybody? Does it make sense for everywhere? Like, so if you do not have anything at hand that gives you AI at hand, think about the problem itself. Can you solve the problem where you are not involved in something like an AI can solve for it? Can there be process around that? So first level of thinking is, can this be automated, and then can it be automated even further in a intelligent way? When you start thinking on those lines, you start to invest your time mentally into those areas where you discover that AI is going to solve this for you. So for example, let's say there's a banner replacement logic, or there's a distribution logic. Ideally, you would think that, can I do it algorithmically? Can I do a fair distribution? You would think about logics, right? But then if you convert this program to an AI field, you have to figure out, okay, I want to achieve this. Can this happen on an automated way where my intelligence is reduced? Like, I'm not investing my intelligence into deciding the logic, but more onto evaluating the outcome.
All right. So I got this point that you need to understand, do you really need AI? But there's something like FOMO, right? You think
Yeah.
that everybody is learning AI
Yeah.
and AI uses, and would it replace our jobs? And everybody is saying that it will replace your job if you don't use it for productivity booster.
Right.
So everybody would want to either learn it. If there is no job available in their company or outside, they will still want to learn it.
Yes.
And in future, they would want to switch their career into AI. So for those people, anything that you would like to say?
So for that matter, yes, I would say there are a lot of courses in the market which help you onboard onto AI. Whether there are two ways to think about it. One is applied AI, one is theoretical development of AI. Right? Applied AI is basically using the existing tools like ChatGPT, or let's say some TensorFlow libraries or something or the other like that, into your day-to-day job, and using that AI as the tool to solve your problems. Or there could be theoretical AI where you can create new machine learning algorithms, where you could think of novel ways of solving a few problems, or you could even create your own ChatGPT sort of a format. So there are two formats. All of them have their own set of courses. You could probably have courses from MIT which are available in YouTube for theoretical senses, or you could have professional Udemy courses slash, let's say, for Geek courses, which would particularly focus on what are the available tools for AI, how many, let's say, ML tools that are there, let's say the new Gen AI tools like ChatGPT, or let's say Stable Diffusion, what kind of tools are there and how they can be used in their your day-to-day life, how to use it professionally, how to be ethical about it. So there are a lot of courses. There are certain portals like medium.com or Substack where you can have literally an umpty number of people posting their experiences, how they onboarded onto not just Gen AI, but how they're using it on their day-to-day applications, and plus also like how they advanced their life based on it. Some people even said that we have solved trading using Gen AI. I'm even I'm supposed to evaluate that, but I've not tried that yet. But people have done that. So there's a lot of resources like that. There are a few YouTube channels as well, like Three Blue, One Brown, and I think there's one more. I'm forgetting the name, but there are many channels like that that help you understand those concepts in a nutshell.
So what I get from this discussion is you need to have courses where you learn fundamentals. At the same time, you need to have an application also where you can apply it.
Yeah.
And you need to learn how to use those APIs also. Before using them, you need to have the good knowledge of fundamentals. That's very much needed.
You need to have the need to learn first. If you went to just learn the tools and then you try to find the need, you probably won't be going in the right direction. You need to first build that need, that why do I want to learn the AI part, and then you will be able to find the exact resources that you need. Like, it's a very intuitive journey after that.
That makes sense from the industry point of view. But if you look at the job market, because that's where we come in, right? As a company, so if we help people in upskilling, getting a job, and there what happens is I have been talking to a lot of recruiters also, and recruiters tell me that now there are company policies which say that you must check basic AI knowledge of even for the freshers. So if there is a fresher who says that I use AI, they build some project, so there is a very common question that you have used LLM, do you know how is it built? So it's a very common question. So something like that that you would like to mention that every fresher should know, or a working professional should know if he or she wants to switch?
So for the freshers, I'll say today the generation is much more advanced. I am pretty much sure 90% of them would have already used ChatGPT for even writing their resumes
Right.
or their even college essays and all that, which is technically not advised, but they would have done that. So they ideally they should be having that knowledge on the part that how it is built and how. Yes, they do need to upskill themselves. Everybody who in today's world needs to upskill themselves, understand that how are these tools available. They're going to be the next mobiles for you. So I'm not, nobody's going to ask you the chipset number of that, but yeah, the basic knowledge would be a requirement, because AI is going to integrate in every job, almost every job, where things can be optimized on the basis like content writing or image generation, right? So these kind of jobs are going to be optimized. Having those knowledge is going to give you an extremely extra good edge. There are certain things built over these generative AI, like RAG frameworks or prompt engineering. Those are also becoming the essence of the time now. Like everybody has to, probably they'll introduce that into college as well. So
Even among the founders, they all want to use AI somehow, and they all are focusing ki how can, even that's the thought I have these days ki what are the processes in my company where I can actually use AI. And I was reading about a study which says that, you know, a lot of employees in all the companies are already using AIs. And 70% of there was a fish bowl study that says that 70% of them are not even telling their bosses that they are actually using AI. And bosses, even if they know, they would be happy. That's the study, that's what the study says ki they just, and bosses also learning it, right? So
there are incidences where bosses have said that do not use AI because of data concerns and all that, but they themselves might also be using them. So there there have been cases, right? And yes, 70%, probably the number would be higher, somewhat lower. I'm not sure about the exact number, but it is on the same lines. Because see, AI is to augment whatever you do. You're investing your time into it, right? Let's say you're writing a resume, like the students that we're referring to, they write a resume. I remember on my days that it used to be a very hard task to do that. I have to first figure out how to articulate the article. I know my points, I know myself, right? So getting that article into shape, AI can now help you with that by just writing it, right? So I mean, you just tell that, okay, I want a certain article in this way, can you help me? And the AI will augment your tool, right? So this is the new perspective. Your the first part of the question.
the first part was I just asked you the same question, right? How can we basically the question was how people should learn AI, what actually they should learn. That was the question originally, and then we were talking
So for that part, when you said that students when recruiters read, I would say read up on case studies,
okay.
right? So case studies, let's say if Geek for Geeks tomorrow you implements a Gen AI solution, like Khan Academy has done similar way, that they have provided a Gen AI bot for helping students learn. So just learning on those case studies also helps you understand that these are the various use cases that you can use. And when you try to solve those use cases in other ways, you get to realize, okay, this is where, this is why, and this is how they use Gen AI to solve for your own use case. And this gives you sort of a project oriented approach on how you can, even in the interview, discuss that this is the thought stream behind and this is how you solved it.
All right. So you mentioned about Geeks for Geeks. I would love to know, being an AI person and you have been in such a reputed company. So you have used Geeks for Geeks also in the past. I was talking about you, right? So I just want to know your thoughts. How we as a company, Geeks for Geeks, although we are working on a lot of projects, and in future you guys are going to see a lot of things which are AI based on Geeks for Geeks. Uh, as an AI expert, I would like to know your opinion that you would like to give me that, hey, you as a geek stories, you need to do this stuff and use AI here and here so that you can make the consumption better and make the product better for the users.
So let's look at it this way. Geeks for Geeks is a online portal where content is posted about how technology works, and a lot of people post a lot of content. Let's say solving algorithmic problems, right, or solving some interview questions or something like that. Now, that is content generated, right? One use case for generative AI could be review the content, enrich it, provide citations.
Okay.
So the generative AI part, let's say a user has posted a post, the generative AI would review that, decide, find out relevant sources, and give citations. The other use case could be that there are comments on the page, right? Now, we face a lot of problems when we say that public comments are going, like, people are putting even personal advertisements or not giving out proper comments, right? Those can be reviewed by generative AI. Those can be reviewed, let's say flagged, or even said, means could be rewritten in case of proper English is not there, or some certain language, or even translated. Let's say a user is from Tamil Nadu, they have written in their language, that the comment is back translated and then reposted or given context. That can be also done, right? Other things can be, let's say, the marketing material that you generate. So a lot, and this is, I'm just talking about text to text. If we go in the realm of generative AI, text to image, then you're looking at, let's say, the marketing material, the posters, the images, the logos, everything can be created by generative AI in images, right? And today there is text to code also, which says that write me a program, I want to solve this problem statement. How can I? And will give you a very good starting point as a code.
Right. So talking about text to code, the NVIDIA founder said that the future of coding is going to be in natural language. You will not be writing the code. You will be giving commands, writing code in natural language only.
Yes.
Mainly, right? That there's going to be one more abstraction. So what are your views about that? Like how because if that happens, then the coding profile is going to completely change, right? And when do you see it coming? And what are your suggestions to coders? Like what should they do to upskill themselves so when it happens, they're ready for this?
So first part, I'll say it's not going to come. It is already here.
Right.
So GitHub Copilot was one of the most pioneer ones who started. Then Google's Replit collaboration is also there. There is Duet AI, Vertex AI. All of these tools are already providing. In fact, today, if you go on OpenAI's ChatGPT or Gemini, on both the platforms, if you say that I want to solve this problem, let's say it will give you sample code with test cases also if you require, right? So that thing is already here. I would not say it is perfect in nature. No AI is perfect in nature. So what is happening is developers today are using it to speed up their coding. Today, if you say that I want to, let's say I'm I'm right now writing, let's say, a machine learning program for understanding a few images. Let's say I would write, I need a program which would do this. Write a basic program. It will, in the editor itself, right now it's giving the full program written out. A few corner cases also probably there here, but these are all based on the generative AI response. Now you, as a human coder, have the responsibility to make sure, one, it is apt, second, to test, third, to even validate even that whether the code is right. A lot of times the code generated doesn't even work. How do you solve for it? So now this is where the change in the industry is, that you are not supposed to be writing each and every code, but now you are supposed to be knowing what to do. Like Python libraries and all that, they give you a level of abstraction, right? That I want to perform, let's say, a print job, a library would be called and a print job would be executed, right? You don't have to actually write the machine learning, the machine code for it to execute the job. The same is the thing now, that generative AI would write a sample code for you, or even a detailed sample code for you, but you have to again edit, re-edit, probably validate, and convert it and customize it to your use case.
There's a bit of difference when we talk about machine language, right? When we were working in the high languages, it was, it might be inefficient because if you know the architecture, if you know the lower level, you can write more efficient code. Yeah. But it was correct. It was never like incorrect. But if you talk about, as you mentioned, right, these days the way the machine learning or AI tools are generating codes, they are they need to be validated, and they might not be correct a lot of times, right? So there you definitely need to have the underlying high level language knowledge. But do you see it happening that you don't even need to validate? It works like a next level language which is generating the code, no validation required, and that is always working right?
It is a possibility in the future. There is a library called, it's an open source solution called AutoGPT, which people claim that they use ChatGPT and auto GPT to write other features for them within a matter of 2 to 3 days. I'm not sure about the exact efficiency. I'm not sure about the exact errors that they face. But yes, this is now going to become a reality soon. Uh, Probably not in the next year, probably not in the next 2 years, but it might be a possibility where people, non-developers also, would come to the platform and say, okay, I need such and such code, and it will write you a basic level, at least this much, that you're able to go to market. But saying that advanced level, very highly detailed, very something, let's say very nuanced to, let's say if you want, there's an library called open license plate detection. It can detect license plates for a n number of, let's say, countries, right? But you want to detect license plates of a certain segment only, then that is a nuanced program. Even ChatGPT won't be able to directly solve it. It will give you a starter pack. It will give you a base to start your work on. It will then, and even in the future also, when it comes to complete nuance, human is the right now the person who can do that. Probably there will be a time, but
Yeah, but we don't know, right? It might
not
take
as
2 years, 3 years, 4 years, but as of now, you still need coders to validate it to make sure that it's running. And there is a lot of business logic, right? I mean, it's the chat GPT doesn't know about your business. There are a lot of if else conditions, a lot of things that you do as per the business. There are no universal rules. Every business runs different ways. So as of now, it doesn't look like it's happening. You need coders, but the basic stuff you were doing as a coder to generate the basic code, that you no longer need. You can use AI for that.
I'll add one point to this. Generative AI, as of now, it's in its current state, is like it's a something to serve to you. All right, it's a very obedient kind of a model, which basically says, if you said generate 5 points of benefits, let's say of poison, contextually poison is not something of a beneficial thought for a day-to-day use consumption of poison sort of a thing. But the generative AI, being an obedient system, it will hallucinate and generate those points. They might be completely out of context, they might be completely invalid. Contextually speaking, for a normal human being, on first sight itself, they'll be able to say, this does not seem right. But for the model, it has generated. So think about it in your coding world. You say, I want to write a program to do X jobs. Now, that X job might be having Y implication and Z constraints. If you have not mentioned that into that prompt, if you have not let the system know that these are your problem statements as well, the system would not consider those, and the generative AI would just generate a code to do your job. But the problem statements, the other ones that generally we take into account because we are experienced coders, we are experienced in professionals, those things are missed by the system, and then you basically are losing out on your job.
I think that's a very good example to understand the difference, the poison example, and versus the same fitting the same thing as a coder. Because you just saying it, but business, there's a lot of business intelligence that is required that goes in to build the code and software.
Exactly. So a lot of times, even the business people, like we as coders experienced, we classify problem statements into functional and non-functional. Functional are something that are the problem statements which the business wants, that I want to solve this. But the non-functional ones are the hidden ones that you discover as a developer, as an architect, as a solution architect, or you discover that, okay, these set of problems, though the business has not mentioned, but we do need to cater to them. Let's say for an automated email system, the business says send 5 emails every 5 days on this email set based on certain rules. What happens if you send if those rules are satisfied, but that there's an error in the data feed? What happens if that email ID or your server is down? Do you send an email to the administrator that the server is down? Those kind of nuances is something that a developer knows. We as architects, we have as coders realize that these are nuances that's not written into a scope, right? So this is still requirement.
Makes sense. I mean, that's completely true. Now, the hot question that every coder has these days, how much impact on jobs after AI comes? And we've seen a lot of jobs going away, right? So, especially the software developers, testers, everybody is worried, what will happen to our job? So what are your views on this? Being in industry, you have been there for a long time. You've seen a lot of ups and downs, and you must have been talking to a lot of software developers around you. So what are your observations about this, and what are your views about AI replacing humans when it comes to coding?
So I'll put in two points over here. First, whenever Gemini or ChatGPT comes with a new feature, and we discover, and even in our office, we say we are packing our bags, we are going home because our job is going to go. But think about it like this: in the US, when automation came in, when with like large machinery came in, every miner actually revolted that we are going to lose jobs. Did that happen? Those who are doing that exact job, they probably lost their job, but they were having new avenues. Let's say, from being a miner who would take an picket and an axe and break down the coal, if you're becoming the operator of that machine, does it make a difference? You're having a job, you have just upskilled yourself, you're better at your job now, right? But if you say that, no, I'm going to do that exact same thing every day till the end of my life, that's not going to work for anybody. Change is the default nature, right? So think about it like this: AI is another tool. As of now, in its current state, and probably in the next 10-15 years also, AI is another tool in your pocket that is doing a faster job than the regular sales, right? uh, right now you're writing text messages to your friends and all that. Earlier used to have a T9 mobile where you used to click on 9 number to go to the last character, right? Then the keyboard came. Then right now the situation is that you can even swipe on your keyboard with your thumb, and the system would be able to identify that this is the word that you want, or an autocorrect corrects your phone. This entire system reduced the jobs of the content writers? No. There are reviews. Grammarly as a website has been doing grammar verification for so long. Have the teachers lost their jobs, or have the readers lost their jobs? No, they have become better at it. I'm going to say that even for developers or for content writers or for image generators, it's going to open up new avenues. If you say I'm going to still do that same thing every day, that's going to be a problem. But if you say that, no, I'm going to use this to my advantage, you are ahead of the curve.
All right. So jobs are not going to go away, right? If I understood correctly.
It's an economic problem. If jobs go away, the funds that go back to create that AI, that also goes away. Right. So we go back to the Stone Ages if jobs go away. So that's not going to.
All right, got it. Now, I think the way AI is growing, and it's a sudden growth, and I'm not sure if everybody is ready for it. Same thing happened when internet came in 90s, right? I mean, people were not ready for it, and there were a lot of ethical issues, a lot of harmful content which was floating around internet, and even WhatsApp when it came, like there were a lot of things which were happening on WhatsApp and Facebook, and people were like just simply blindly following it. Same thing is going to happen, and it's already happening with AI, deepfakes, and all. We saw videos during election, right? So, how would you say that? Are we prepared for that, and have we those tools ready which can handle this, or like AI, we are as a human are still not completely ready for the shift?
Actually, we have to both brace for impact, and also we have to understand there's a big opportunity here. So think about it like this: internet came, and then the whole industry of cybersecurity came into place. Earlier there was no cybersecurity, right? Today there's a whole field of cybersecurity. In fact, that they also apply and implement a lot of AI in itself, right? So that means there was a problem statement, and there are people to solve it. Similarly, in the field of AI, there are ongoing efforts. In fact, Sundar Pichai, in his last year's IO event, the global event that we do, also said that responsible and ethical AI is a part of our responsibility. So the big tech are already looking into like creating watermarking, or there are certain indicators saying that, okay, AI has this generated this content or not. All right. There are a lot of research papers going on in how we can identify, in fact, use AI to identify whether this is AI written or not. So there's a completely new field. We may not be ready yet, but we have to be. There's a lot of work going on. The big tech like OpenAI, the Google and Microsoft, what they're doing is right now they're building redundancies into the system so that AI does not go bad. By bad I mean does not start spewing poison. Like early days of ChatGPT, there were a lot of incidences which were reported that AI threatened the user itself or wrote love letters to the user itself. There were a lot of incidences like that. Now, learning from that, Microsoft and ChatGPT both implemented a lot of processes in front of that AI to make sure that these kind of responses are curtailed. Similarly for Gemini, initially there were a lot of problems, but then they implemented solutions for that, right? So it's an ongoing process. It's going to be an ongoing process always. But deepfakes, they are trying to figure out more ways, like watermarking. I said that it will have a metadata watermark that this was AI generated, and it becomes the user's end responsibility also. If I receive a WhatsApp saying Mahatma Gandhi said XYZ statement, which may or may not be with your current mood, then it's your responsibility to understand that Mahatma Gandhi's photo has been implemented and then a quote of the person who generated that image. So without the use of AI also, we were having fake news. Without the user, there was a very common phenomena with WhatsApp. Every few days we used to get a message. There was a AIDS-ridden worker whose blood spilled into Fruity or Maza or something. Don't use that, and a complete batch of Maza would go to waste. Was that AI generated? No. There was a huge content on this part also, that I'm a black prince from Africa. I have certain money I need to send to you, and please send me this amount and I'll send it. So the bank will. All kind of frauds were there, right? So this was pre-AI also. Now we have to prepare ourselves with AI. So I think AI with AI war is also going on.
I think, as you said, these are similar problems, and internet was totally new. We have already seen these kind of problems when people have been floating around, and we are kind of prepared, but there's still a lot of work to do around
There's a lot
AI.
of work to do.
I saw a video of Ranveer Singh. He was in Banaras and he was talking against Modi or something. I mean, when I looked at that video, it was looking original to me. I mean,
yes, that is the scary part of the AI right now. The deep fakes. There was a appreciation video and there was a critical video as well. Similarly, I think Manoj Tiwari of BJP was the one who used deep fakes to create a election campaign in various languages. He used his face once in his language, and then all of it was replicated across, right? So deepfake has its own benefit. Deepfake has its own downside. It's obviously up to the users who, one, create them, and secondly, it's up to the users who receive them to do a critical analysis. And then obviously there are governing parties like the government who's basically seeing that, okay, there are certain videos which are going viral. We have to fact check them.
it's similar to what they do in WhatsApp. They basically do a
Exactly.
fact check, right? Very valid point. Now, I think that's all from my side, and I'll open it for the audience. If audience has any questions, you guys can ask any question if you have.
Any questions?
Please feel free to ask any question that you guys have, and I think Vineet and me would be very happy to answer.
You mentioned YouTube channel for learning. So can we know what kind of which language which channel is best for learning AI? Because there are a lot of AI, lot of channels which tells that we can teach you AI. But how can I figure out that which one is best?
So do one thing. Grab any course, like there are books on AI, right? So grab any book, check its contents, the contents page. It gives you the topics to learn. All right. Use that topic name, put it into YouTube search, and the most viewed or the most popular YouTube video generally has a good level of content. Like that's the public feedback. All right. Go topic by topic. Understand topic by topic. Because if you say that I want a course, what happens in a course is a course, a video course sort of a thing, like a Udemy course or a, let's say, if unless you're going for an MIT course, like IIT or MIT, both have their NPT. Have you heard about NPTEL channel? NPTEL, right? So that has brilliant courses for AI. In fact, not just AI, machine learning, as well as other topics that I've seen. So there is brilliant course material on NPTEL that is from IIT courses. There is brilliant material on MIT channels. They have, and they go theoretically in depth. If you're able to understand theoretically in depth, a lot of times applied science also becomes easier for you to understand that why something is applicable, why something is useful or not. Okay, so go topic by topic instead of thinking that you can cover the whole AI. The AI world is very large, so no particular one topic, one course would be able to solve for you.
Yeah, please.
I have two questions. First, can generative AI help for in force case forces
For
army areas for army for police?
army for post generative AI, there can be use cases. There are, so generative AI. One more thing I'll like to say that generative AI is not just for generating stuff. All right, think about it as a black box where you put in certain comments of yourself. Let's say you put in a requirement and it gives you an output. All right, so for example, chat GPT. Now think about it like this: you've done some data, you have a bunch of data at your hand, some documents at your hand which you have not gone through. Let's say 100,000 documents at your hand. All right, we can literally use generative AI to first figure out, sift through all those 100,000 documents, process it, and then output a response. So in, let's say, armed forces, a lot of intelligence requires to be done, right? Think about a lot of WhatsApp messages, Twitter messages, intercepted documents, say, in fact, for that matter, let's say, uh, even the constitutional documents, right? Or just retrieve paperwork or something. All has been scanned and then fed to that generative AI. Today, frameworks like RAG framework and all that allow them to figure out what content they need to refer. The generative AI, the model needs to refer, and it will process that at a much higher speed and give you an output that is based on your query. So for intelligence work, all documents cannot be sifted through. 100,000 document, let's say, on a real time basis cannot be sifted through and figured out that these are relevant for our intelligence or not, right? But generative AI can be. So think about it as a workforce for you, a workforce replica for you to process all that content.
Can a generative the generative AI can be combined with data science?
Can be.
Combined with data science.
It is a part of data science. Data science is so.
Data science and data analyst are both are different things.
I'm sorry.
Data science and data analyst both are different.
Data science and the second analyst, both. See, analyst is going to consume your data and give you an out and basically give you some insights over it, right? Data science would basically say that, okay, I need to understand the data first. Think about it like this: I am building, let's say, a classifier to do, let's say, cancer detection, right? I am a new data scientist, probably not that experienced. I want to implement my best practices. Chat GPT or Gemini or Bard, all of these have been today been trained on both those best practices also. So you can ask them, I have this problem, I'm not able to train well, can I solve this better? I am facing certain accuracy issue in my model, can I train it better? It will give you the best practices, it will give you sample codes. So as a data scientist, a lot of times you don't even know about certain concepts. So have you ever heard about genetic programming or genetic algorithms? Genetic algorithms. So these are genetic algorithms allow you to do combination and give you an optimal solution, right? Now think, you are not aware about it. Let's say you're not aware about this, right? You came to the table, you said, I have a problem where I need to find the optimal combination. How can I solve it? My size of my search space, like the things that I have to combine, is, let's say, of the order of 1,000,000. A normal deterministic dynamic programming algo might not also be of good use at that point. Like it might take a lot of time, right? At that time, if you ask what are the possible solutions that I could use, generative AI actually did this to me. It told me that there's a possibility you could use genetic algorithms or swarm optimization problems. Now I said, okay, elaborate. So now it helped me open up new avenues. Now I could read more about it, right? So this is how generative AI is going to come to day-to-day activities. And if you say data science, you say, okay, I am facing certain problem. What is the mathematical, let's say, equation or a concept that I could implement in this situation, and it will give you the it will give you knowledge about that.
Any other question? I think if there are no more questions, we can end the session. That is all from our side.
All right. Thank you all.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.